Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and the U.S. Army working together to make things better. All right, we're here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. We've watched 3 really good games. As you can see, the new studio setup that we've done for ourselves. Of course, we've got 100,000 square feet of dedicated esports right here. This is what we built this all for. Which also means we used to get a lot of steps as well before we had to get into these quarantine phases and
where you at, Corey?
Shelter in place. I don't know where I'm at. I'd have
okay.
to pull everything up, and there's a whole process for that. Probably less than you. So although I did have a few conference calls this morning, which meant I was walking around quite a bit. So I may have more steps than you today.
We'll find out.
All right, sounds good. That's where the real competition's at, where the pedometer is at. No, actually, let's go ahead and take a look at the schedule of where we're at so far. These are the first 4 matches of the day. Of course, we have 4 after this one as well. But as you can take a look, RMU defeating UTD 16-13. UConn defeating MTU 16-8. And then that brings us to VCU versus Drexel 16-3. So we're seeing 5 rounds being taken away from each one of these.
I was about to say, I'm no man of superstitious, as you know that, Corey. I don't really keep track of patterns. Not at all. No way, no how. So the next map I predict, it might be 16 to -2 in favor of the upper bracket team, Kennesaw. Of course, that's not possible. But Purdue, we saw them. They came out of their bracket. They had a little bit of a rougher time. They were put down pretty early, I believe, if I'm going to backtrack here and get some of my notes out.
Yeah, we'll talk about them here in a second. Let's start with Kennesaw, though, first. So this is the kind of introduce you to Kennesaw and where they started here in this tournament. Maybe. Possibly. No, maybe not. All right, well, then never mind. Continue on then about Purdue.
So I found my notes, Corey. They found Purdue went up against Ryerson, and they were 16-6. But hey, it looks like that's Kennesaw, and look at what they were able to accomplish. Oh yes, Kennesaw, the most exciting team we've seen so far in this tournament. They started off with the, what was it, in the first round? It was the 4K. Oh, that shot. Oh, man, sorry. I forgot about that one. That one made me stop talking for a second. We saw the first round 4K, followed by a second round ace, followed by a third round ace. And, of course, that op shot by Austin. I could keep watching that all day. And there's the lineup for you. You've got Danimals. Or you've got Danimals. Man, that's the drink back from middle school. You've got Danimal, you've got Gonzo, Tate W, Austin, and Seb, or Sebastian.
Yes. Those players, I mean, as you mentioned, the way that game started off, we had a 4K, then we had an ace, then we had another ace. So we had back-to-back action for Kennesaw State, and so we'll see how this one plays out as they face off against Purdue. But there's another look at the bracket. They were part of that 3-team bracket, so we only saw them for a brief moment. But they played against LSU, and LSU, they came out to play for a little bit in their first matchup against UAH. But then they got defeated 16-13, and I think the game, if I recall correctly, wasn't as close as what the final score showed. But it was 16-13 there for Kennesaw, so that's what we'll be looking out for in their matchup. Now, let's look on the flip side. You've got Purdue that they're playing against, and so for Purdue, this is what we had seen from them during their group play. And so we've got Eli. We only saw a little bit of Eli, as they ended up kind of transferring him later on. And there's Outcast, who actually, I believe that was the player that they brought into the server in his as a substitute for him as well. So some good gameplay. Shot Up was the one that we were waiting for day one, or for this or during their group, and so he really came out to play as well. But they scraped by. They end up getting theirs, and that's how that one all played up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this roster that we're going to play with this game. We will actually have Cyber, Eli, Fresh, Noosty, and Shot Up. This is way they started off their day. This is probably how they wanted to end their day, because Eli was a clutch player, and then I believe Outcast was the one that came in for him and played later on as well.
That is correct, and they even Shot Up, as we interviewed him, he mentioned to us that they said to each other, okay, we got to find a fifth, and they went on their Discord and they found Outcast, and Outcast was supposed to come in for Shot Up, but Shot Up says, "Hey, I'm here," and Outcast was, "Okay, well, I'll be waiting." And Sure enough, he was waiting long enough. They picked him. As they saw in their losers finals match against Ryerson, it was 16-14 on Mirage, 13-16 on Vertigo in favor of Ryerson, and then 16-4 on Overpass to close out the series and take it 2-1, and that's how they got into the playoffs.
Yeah, they fought hard. I mean, they played against, it looked like Ryerson was going to be the team that had that second place out of this Group E. Rochester Institute of Technology. I mean, you would expect a lot of great things from RIT. Of course, they barely beat LA Tech, but then they end up defeating Ryerson pretty quickly, which may have basically demoralized the Ryerson crew because Purdue fought hard and they fought well, and they took the longer path, but they did get there, and they ended up being the second place team out of Group E, which is where we're at right now. So we'll see how this one plays out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pick bands. This is how this one shaped out. Similar as fashion as always. Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, no, that's similar as always. All right, I almost caught myself off guard for a second. So Kennesaw decided to ban second, which means they get to choose later on. Purdue bans Inferno, Nuke, and Dust 2. Then you've got on the flip side, Kennesaw bans Mirage, they ban Train, which leaves Vertigo and Overpass. And so here we go. We're going back into Overpass with the matchup between Purdue and Kennesaw. And I'll start to make my notes. And it is Overpass as our final here between these two teams. So Kennesaw and Purdue, you know, so far the number one teams in this upper bracket round one have all been victorious. Will we see anything different from this one? I don't know. I want to see Purdue compete and play well, but we just don't know if that's going to hold true.
And that's a good point. I think it's going to be on Shot Up's back, as we saw in the very first series. He came out slow. He came out really slow, in fact, when they played on Inferno, and that fell down to 16-6 in favor of Ryerson. And then he stepped up his game, and then that was a completely different series. And so I believe they have played Overpass before, and that is the map that they actually lost, I think. It was 16-13 in favor of, oh no, it was 16-14 in their favor. Okay, so they looked pretty good onto Overpass. I was thinking of Vertigo. That was the map in which they lost 13-16, but it was Overpass. So at that point also, Ryerson had both Purdue and Ryerson played a lot of matches that day, so getting to that very last match of the day, that could, you know, that's the gauntlet. That's something we talked through. And so going into this match now, it appears that all players are awake, so we're not having to waiting for Shot Up. And something to mention here is, as you mentioned, we are going to be here for 8 matches, but these players are only here for 1, so we don't have to have that conversation around the battle of attrition, the battle of keeping themselves mentally there, keeping themselves alive, keeping themselves fresh. All they have to do is play 1 game, and we've seen a lot of these players in their very first game have come out to be the most strong.
Well, let's see. I mean, I really think that we're going to see Kennesaw come out very, very strong and take this one on Overpass. Now, we'll see which side they end up starting on. Of course, we haven't done the knife round yet, so we'll see. It can go either way, but I mean, I think the information that we have in front of us, I think Kennesaw is going to have a really, really, really good game. But Purdue, we'll see what they can bring our way. But we've seen Kennesaw on Overpass, and we saw how dominant they can be. So I suspect we're going to see a dominant performance again on this game. So knife round will determine what the scoreline will be, but I don't necessarily think that's going to change which team is going to win.
So we saw this previously, where we thought to ourselves, okay, we want to see UConn on the T side. We want to just see them go absolutely wild and see how fast they can play. If you're on the side on Kennesaw, do you think the same mentality? You want to start off strong. You want to start off on that C side. You want to get the momentum into your favor going into the T side, knowing it's a lot easier for us to win X amount of rounds on the CT side than it is to win X amount of rounds on the T side.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you choose, for a team like Kennesaw, I think you choose CT side and you just dominate the team, and you just prove the fact, and you basically set a standard just by numbers alone. And so we'll see here as they're showcasing. Here is Overpass. We, of course, have Kennesaw, as it looks like they will be starting. Yes, they will be starting off on the terrorist side. So we'll see how this one plays out. You got Purdue on the CT. Here we are in pistol round. And just like that, we're back into the action with more collegiate CSGO.
And this seems to be a popular strategy amongst these teams, is taking that long A route. We'll have to see what success they have, as there's 2 players actually not even on the site. They're in restrooms. They might not even hear them until they get closer. And we've seen this before, Corey. When teams are able to get to the site too quick, it's really hard to come back, as they've gone absolutely unnoticed as Fresh is going to find the first opening, and he's going to find 3 of them. He's going to take down 1 before it gets taken down. He's actually still in the round. Sebastian hasn't been able to. He was the first one answered, but all of a sudden, how is this shaken out for Kennesaw? They had everything in their favor. They weren't able to take down 1. They weren't even able to take down any of them.
Wow. That's not a good sign for Kennesaw for not having, I mean, none of them looked like they were able to cause really any damage at all. A lot of body shots that were coming in here for Kennesaw and just not causing any real damage there. They had so many chances to be able to take out Fresh, and they just couldn't do it. And so Purdue losing the pistol round, that may shape up and change my whole perception of how this game is going to go. But we'll see. So now we've got to see what they end up deciding to do this time. Fresh decides to play aggressive, and whoop, that's the wrong door.
They hit him this time.
Yeah, so now he's going to backtrack, and then finally Danimal picking up the first frag here for Kennesaw. Eli, though, oh, look at this. He's got his teammate as well shot up, and he's going to do that from behind. 2-0 now for Purdue. And we see the AK is coming out because they got the bomb planted in the first round. And so if Kennesaw can't win this round, based off of what we're seeing for the current for the current weaponry, all the MP9s and 1 MP7 coming out, then we'll see.
Even an AWP in the hands of Danimal. So they really want to get this round number 3 for themselves. So something I want to note, Corey, is we didn't see Purdue when Elijah or Eli and Shot Up were both hot. We saw them play together, and we thought that Eli was the standout performer.
Right.
And now it seems like they're both warm. So we saw only when Shot Up was there, and they were able to make it, obviously, into this playoff bracket. But now if they're both warm, I think this team could do some damage. And they're already starting to look pretty strong. As you mentioned, winning that pistol and seeing how things have shaped up, they've actually kept themselves in a pretty good economic standing. If they lose this round, they will still have guns. Obviously looking to win this round as now we see Elijah holding this connector position. Oh, we just cut away from him, and he's not able to find up the kill because Austin on the flip side is taking out 2 towards connector and sandbags, and now Nusi's holding down the position. Not quite pushing forward yet, but there he goes. He comes pushing out. Wasn't expecting that. He does a good amount of damage, but not able to take him down. So it looks like the B hit is in full effect now as they've thrown out the Molotovs, they've thrown out the smokes. Nusi's found himself in a pretty nice position there in water as Elijah's supporting from heaven. He finds the shots, but he's not able to connect them. As Austin's happy to get away with his life, as Kennesaw's, once again, we talk about it, rotating quickly here on Overpass, and they have found themselves available a B bomb site.
Yeah, just the quick rotates that happen on a map like this. And so now we'll see TW's got an angle. And, oh, he decides as he peeks out in the open, he just says, here, I'm right here. So now they've down to a 3-on-4. And look, they're doing work. Now they know exactly where both players are at. They just not hitting shots. There goes Gonzo and Danimal. And there you have it. I just needed to call them out before they started doing work. So now it's 2-1, but that was the round that they should have won, but Purdue caused a lot of damage. And so we'll see what happens here. They ended up causing a lot of physical damage, but they didn't end up taking a lot away from Kennesaw.
So that's 3 rounds that we've seen Purdue go to that A bomb site. Now they've got some utility to work with. Looks like we're seeing a lone soldier in Austin trying to make some noise as Eli mollies himself off from connector. Fortunately, there's not a team there to try to run on through that. So the only person we see is Sebastian, who's pushing his way forward. Got sprays through the wall a little bit, but actually finds the pick now on Eli. And that's going to open up that side of the map. We see a very fast rotation from 2 players going to that A bomb site.
Which is interesting, the fact that they've already decided to rotate. I mean, we've talked about it. Whenever an event happens over towards a particular bomb site, I'd say Connector is not that. Connector doesn't necessarily lend itself either direction. Just means that that's our mid control, if you will, on this map. And so Kennesaw actually, of course, gives it up. And now we're about to see if Fresh decides to peek this angle. You do have TW, or say Danimal, who's got the op, and I thought he was holding it down, but I guess he wasn't. And here comes a flash. They push their way in, and Fresh was not blind. There is one player that's still inside the site. They now know that, and Cyber wins the gunfight. They are getting traded as they enter into the bomb site, but now it's left up to Shot Up. See if he's able to make his way in here. The bomb has been planted. And that's going to finish off the round. Sebastian with 2 kills in the round, and the score is all tied up.
Finds himself the first and the last as Shot Up fires a little prematurely there, giving away his position. He saw the bomb being planted, was just not fast enough to react. So we see a 2-2 scoreline after Purdue finding the first 2 rounds for themselves. Kennesaw has answered back and are rewarded with fighting against an eco round, and that is 5 players quickly making their way in the connector. Sebastian finds the first one at the shooting range now. He is taken down, and Gonzo pokes out, and he's almost able to close out the round, but that grenade from Austin will. Nice connection through as that top window from connector, and that's round number 3 on the board for Kennesaw. As they lose 2 AKs in that round, they are not too afraid of that. They have a great money standing for themselves, and I'd say if they want to stop the bleeding as Purdue, this is a must-win round. They're on the backs of being reset again in their money, and Kennesaw, not close.
Yeah, one of the things I want to talk about briefly, during Overpass last time, whenever we saw them against LSU, they had won 7 rounds in a row. This is coming from Kennesaw. And then they lost 7 rounds in a row. So just keep that in mind. The play style sometimes from Kennesaw, maybe not necessarily fully solid all the way across, but that is, that's the only bit of information that we really have to be able to go off of here.
That's a good call out.
Yeah.
Because as we could see, we've saw it before earlier today with UTD and RMU, the pendulum swinging, as I said, as the momentum constantly shifting back and forth. And if Purdue's able to walk with this round, we could start seeing that start shifting into their favor. But Gonzo starts off the pick onto Eli to kick things off in round number 6. This appears to be a B bomb site hit as we see Gonzo rotating back around to get the bomb. They've got 3 players here, so they're ready to take the fight. Here they come through sandbags. Sebastian's found nothing, but he finds the head of Shot Up. He's not in the right place at the right time, and he completely wraps around. No one's watching him. He's able to find more. He's going to find the last player, in fact.
Oh, man, it's a big pet peeve of mine. He's just reloading as he's trying to advance into a new position. But both of these players playing together, and this actually could work in the favor of Fresh because they're right next to each other.
He's got 2 flash grenades too.
Well, does not have a kit though, yeah. So
Jinx, you owe me a soda. So now they challenge the stick and they shoot him through the smoke, as you see by that new indicator. 4 on the board for Kennesaw. 4-2, as the money once again is not there for Purdue.
I think they could have done a little bit better with that smoke icon.
Ah, here we get to see your pet peeve.
Yeah, look here. Oh. We freeze frame right there, just showing.
And that's the moment his heart broke, or what was it? You can see the exact moment his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so AWP in the hands of Danimal. Second time we're seeing that so far. I want to say has had the most impact, and Austin finds himself a pick on the Shot Up, and Sebastian just finds himself incredibly low, and that's a lot of action going down.
Tons of trade, yeah. That's all happening over there towards water.
Now they know where this last guy's at, Eli, and he's trying to keep himself alive. He wants to keep this AK, and boy, he's got a long time to need to do that. As he actually hears one player running away, and ooh, if he finds an angle, okay, just a little bit too late.
The other, that's I believe, Gonzo is just sprinting, or actually, that may be Danimal, because it is the bomb carrier. Yeah, Danimal, as soon as he knew exactly where that player was at, he grabbed the bomb and he just ran with his knife out. There's no way that he was going to be able to catch up to that without making any noise and drawing even further attention. They do recall where he was last located, so you can see Gonzo on the manhunt. Gonzo's at 12 HP. And I think Gonzo might, they're starting to get closer to each other, but Gonzo's going to backtrack, regroup with his teammate. And Eli, looks like he's trying to change his position. This is a tough angle too, because you could creep up the ladder and then boom. I mean, he's in a really tough spot. Bomb planted in the B bomb site. He's really not being impacted too much as Austin's now starting to run this way, and Austin, but still not enough. So 5 rounds in a row now for Kennesaw. As we take another look here at this moment, see how fast that happened there. getting just a shout out to just how the team has handled the production for this. I mean, some of the moments that we may miss, it does happen. We can't capture everything perfectly all the time. We do pick it up with a replay. So again, shout out to production for making this all work. So 5-2 right now.
Yep. I mean, you saw it in the replay. There was like 6 kills that happened in the matter of like 8 bullets.
Right.
So catching some of those pieces is very difficult, as you're already watching something else. You're expecting something to happen, and then before you even know it, you've missed something. So Nusty's able to find one there as he's jumping.
Yeah, starting to head over here towards bathrooms already. That's Danimal in the long range. He was actually set up. He was giving some cover there. He's outside of bathrooms. And who is that trying to make that jump?
Sebastian is who, as he's going to find. Ooh.
Yeah, he made it. Oh, over the top. Eli thought he had the upper hand on that one, but he tried to react to it, and then Sebastian said, well, thank you for letting me know where you're located at.
And now they know the AWP is on this site. As you see here, it's actually Sebastian just the only one making noise. As he says, I'm going to continue making noise. You guys go to the B site.
Yep, he's baiting everything out, and then now you've got Purdue going, wait, nothing's here. What's happening? And that flashbang's going to go, wait a minute. Oh, I think if Sebastian would have waited a little bit longer, he would have been able to get one on the flank or on the rotate. Bomb is planted now, and now they're going to see they've already started the rotate because they knew that the bomb site was clear. And Nusty just looking. Oh man, he had the chance, but there he had a second opportunity on Austin, and over the top. That's going to be Danimal. Danimal now in a really tough spot. 1-on-2, no smokes to be had here. As he tries to be oh no, he pulled off the bomb, and he starts again. It's going to have enough time here. But they did get 5 rounds in a row before Purdue was able to found their 3rd round of the game.
And Corey, you've mentioned this. Kennesaw sometimes can look a little shaky, so I wouldn't be surprised to see another round come out here for Purdue. But if they are able to stop round number, what are we looking at?
Join the server.
Oh. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, you are absolutely correct. 0-7. The rest of his team's having a great performance for themselves as we get into round number 9. Again, to the point I was making is, if they're able to stop the pendulum from swinging into Purdue's favor here and getting more rounds, as TW has joined the server now, as you've mentioned it. TW, he's really coming alive. Okay, they're just going on to that B site. As Fresh is able to find only one, and that is the round. Holy cow, you blink and you miss it. So, Corey, my whole point was we saw Kennesaw if they would win a lot of rounds, but then they'd also lose a lot of rounds. That time they only lost 1 round, and not only with that, the money is not looking great on the side of Purdue. And they've got plenty to speak of for themselves. So it seems that was the only impacts they needed, was TW coming alive. We saw 2 kills quickly coming out for himself there.
Yeah, I like calling out players because typically after they do something. But look at this. You got a quick push. They're being hyper-aggressive inside of mid, and Gonzo does not have a chance here. And there, TW getting another one here.
That is going to be now. Yes, they found shot up onto that B bomb site. So that will mean they get the free bomb plants, and they're going to have the rotation coming through. They're going to be coming from the T spawn with these pistols. And a singular AK in the hands of Nusty. They have a kit. They're very far away from this one, so if they want to, they got to get these knives out and start running. Seems like they're doing just that, so they haven't quite given up on this round just yet.
They have 1 smoke to help them out from Nusty. And here comes the push, and as Austin wasn't able to hold down that choke point.
And that's
Sebastian's on the rotate here. Sebastian deciding whether or not he wants to be able to flank. It is still down to a 3-on-3, and Nusty able to bait one out there with the smoke. And hey, the one way to look at this round is they were taking weapons away from Kennesaw. But it is 7-3 now.
And that exactly they did, as we see $13,000 onto Austin and turns into $8,200. So they succeeded in getting 3 guns out of the hands and start to chip away at is a very healthy economy in Kennesaw. It's round number 11, 7-3. In favor of the name mentioned Kennesaw, and we see the AWP once again in the hands of Nusty. He's been able to do some pretty good work with that on the B bomb site. He's finding himself onto A now. I've noticed that he's a player that rotates very quickly. I wonder if that's either based on the calls that he has or whether that's just his instinct, as we see now the player is holding W, no shift key needed for this A long hit. Elijah's going to be the first one to see him. He's going to throw down that Molotov, and they're probably going to slow their roll just a little bit now.
Yeah, Kennesaw backtracking. Let's see if they can head over here towards the B bomb site now. They take the long way, and there's been no impact on Purdue. They have not adjusted their play style. They are still holding the exact same angles. This is where we saw Shot Up a lot, and he made some very, very clutch plays whenever he was hot. And then Molly over the top is going to force him out of the barrel location. I think they may have spotted him as he was rotating away, so they know that there's at least one player that's in this location. And a double peek, but Gonzo wins the one gunfight, and there's Austin. Austin tapping, and he finds Noosty, and nice little tap action there coming in. Click, 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 and down goes another one. So now it's left up to Eli. Eli in this 1-on-2, winnable situation. He's got a kit. And I thought that the bomb was actually right there in its default location. It is not. And Danimal will pick him up as he was fading away. 8-3 now.
And as we keep seeing these rounds unfold, and we keep seeing the players, Shot Up's one of those players we would normally see hit a lot of those shots as he falls down there. He's able to find one, but not any further. So 8-3 in favor of Kennesaw. Starting to run away with this half.
It turns out, Purdue did not get a -2, so.
That is true, but hey, if they go up 5, if they go to, what was it? It was if they go to 8, then we can start saying maybe the following match will be 6-13. Once again, I'm not someone for superstitions or patterns, but
yeah, you're all about them patterns.
Yeah, it's patterns.
I've seen some of the shirts you've been wearing. All right, so now they start to move here towards Connector. And they've locked it down.
Ooh, TW's in a no man's land and ran out of bullets.
Yeah, there we go. Now there's Austin. He's had enough. He's gotten 3 so far in the round.
And he is snappy with these headshots.
Oh, it's so good.
He is clean right now.
Austin's that same one with the op through the plywood.
That is
so
absolutely
so
true.
Good. So good.
As Elijah and Gonzo are going to bring around the Rosie, and Elijah's the one that falls down.
Yeah, Eli. Yeah, he's currently sitting at 7-9. He's one of those ones that we talked about being a clutch player, but we also talked about Shot Up, and he is 5-10.
He's being challenged a lot more with utility this time. He's having to move a lot more, and I think that's something he was getting a little more comfortable with in the last series that we saw him in, is he could anchor down, he could plant himself, get comfortable.
Yep.
Versus we're seeing Kennesaw, the utility is definitely shaking up their playstyle as we see 2 players running towards Fountain, and Cyber's going to get absolutely sandwiched there on.
Great setup by Kennesaw on that one too. And that Molly's going to slow them down. The Shot Up is seeing if he can gain position here. And now he's held it down. But look out, flank right now. There's a huge flank that's happening inside of T-Spawn. You got Eli, who is actually, I think they both hurt each other, and Fresh is there. They've choked off this point, but this is where you don't necessarily want to challenge because they know you're there. And that's why Eli falls to Austin. And there's another one for Gonzo. I think they should have held it down together as a team, but there was the rotate that was happening there as well as they were trying to collapse on the bomb. I get the intent, but they kept going too far. As soon as they were, the terrorist side, as soon as Kennesaw was alerted, you should have stopped in your tracks and started working angles, basically making them have to make the move. Don't continue to play their game and just fall into their traps because they knew where they were at. If they would have waited, that would have just applied the mental pressure that they could attack at any point, which would delay the round even further, and they just gave that up. And here goes Danimal as he starts off this round.
And also some potential frustration coming out for the side of Purdue.
Oh my God, look at that, all over the place.
Some players investing, some players not investing, and now we're seeing Austin is starting to heat up on the server. He's got, I think, 18 for himself, but he's also being surrounded. He's got himself a nice angle, and he's got the AK, of course, and we've seen he can be absolutely explosive as Gonzo's looking to support his teammate stuck there, as it's Cyber who's been able to pick up the AK, and he's going to have to run away as he's... Oh, okay.
No, it's just in the corner, so that allows him to easily check that one. That's the purpose behind that.
That is true. I thought he was going to try to bank it off the corner, but you are absolutely correct. And now Gonzo says, all right, you're going to have to open this door if you want to fight me, and just repositions himself now.
Yeah, because he knows that his teammate actually pulled away from sandbags, so that was the right call. They also still have the door closed, so they might be able to, need to if they can do a quick flick here. Uh-oh, Nudesy. Noosty. Super Noosty.
It's not Super Zero. But, oh, we're finding the fight. Austin wasn't able to close that one out. He's actually taking more damage from Fresh on that exchange. As Fresh is finding himself in a 1v2 situation. He's already worked towards sandbags. He sees one player, and Austin's going to peek him, and he's going to lose that one. It's now a 1v1, and, oh, Danimal.
Danimal's had a really good op this game. I mean, for us, we haven't talked a lot about him other than just reacting to the kill feed. But Danimal, look at that. I mean, he's 2 and 8 on his KD, but his ADR is at 80. Of course, Austin has been playing lights out as well. So, but we've been paying attention to Austin. But I think Danimal, he's been, really loud on the server. We just haven't been talking a lot about him. So, but I just want to try to call him out because I have noticed at least.
So the player that we said we needed to watch was Elijah and Shot Up. They both invested last round. As you can see, they've got the least to speak of for their team. Now Elijah's out of the server. Cyber is actually able to find the trade, and we saw Cyber was one of those players that was quiet, but he did perform well for his team towards the later half of that loser's bracket run. As Sebastian makes his way out, opens the door, and says goodbye, closes it.
Yeah, I like the fact that, I mean, he's wasn't raised in a barn, so he went ahead and closed the door behind him. Can't let that AC out.
That is true. We are getting close to the summer here in Texas, and it's actually a cooler day. There was a storm last night that cooled things down. But Austin's actually going to be cooled down by Shot Up as he's going to find an AK now and get off of the site, get himself to some protection. His left at Danimal, and that's going to be the half. 11-4 in favor of Kennesaw. All right, Corey, that's exactly. I feel like I said this multiple times now. There might be an echo in this room, but I said if you're on the side of Kennesaw, do you want to start on that T side and just try to swamp your way through, get as many rounds? It's easier to say I can get 6 rounds on this CT side than it is to say I can get 6 rounds on this T side.
As we take a look at the last moments there in that the first half. There is an echo. I mean, we've got about what 30? How many 30,000?
In this room that we're in, I think it's 28,000.
Yeah, so.
Something to be exact.
Yeah,
but
so there's definitely some echoes that are happening.
With the stage taking 10,000, I actually, when this room's empty, I like to sing Ave Maria, but that's a different thing for a different time. As
some things you just don't share here in the pistol round. So now, as they're starting to be aggressive, pushing in, Gonzo gets himself one. This is not the same that we saw from Purdue, as they had a really good lockdown. And TW, there it is. I think TW just likes to listen to us and react. Oh no, goodness, Sebastian. I love the USP.
It is. It's such a smooth gun. I honestly, the USP headshots and like pistol rounds, they feel so good.
It's the pew and then the goosh.
Yeah.
The quick gib after is it's so good.
My favorite clip of all time is Snacks when he gets that 4K against Na'Vi and what in God's name is that from Snacks? You know, that whole moment. That's easily one of my favorite moments that happened in Counter-Strike. There's
been so many though.
It's hard to say, but that one I just feels like I get goosebumps from watching that. And the Chris J op, I was watching that one live. Oh man, Counter-Strike really is the game that keeps on giving. It's been around you've been doing this for over 20 years for Counter-Strike.
Well, I've been playing CS for 21 years, but I've been talking about it or been about it.
But that's what I'm saying. Counter-Strike's that game
years.
that you've been able to play for over 21 years, and you still look at this more excited than you did the previous day. And I think that's something magical about this game that it has here.
Yeah, well, it's because the players are what makes the difference, not the game. That's how this game doesn't have abilities. It doesn't have all these extra special things that evolve and change, and the only things that change is slight updates like web dings. so now they push in here towards the A-bomb site, and Danimal's trying to hold it down, but it is already going in the favor of Purdue. Oh no, Sebastian had one. And now it's left up to TW.
And now that you said his name, he's going to make this comeback. So that's how this has been working. He sees one on site with Elijah. He doesn't know where Noosty's at. The bomb actually hasn't gone down yet, so it's giving him some time to work with. Interesting enough, Purdue invested into this round. They've gotten the bomb down, so that'll help him out. But if TW is able to make this clutch, this is going to be a dagger in their backs as they put everything on the line. The hopes to walk away from it. And similarly, Kennesaw did as well.
Just poked. Yeah, it's over and over again. He's just getting hit from both sides. They're playing a game of whack-a-mole with him. Is it the left side? Is the right side? Yep, exactly. So that round did not look like TW was going to win it. It just, the way that it was playing out, it just seemed that he couldn't make the shots. He has a FAMAS too. The FAMAS is just one of those weapons. Sometimes it just feels good. Sometimes it doesn't. That time it didn't. So 12-5 here as we heading to our third round now.
A saying once about the FAMASs: sometimes you're shooting bullets and sometimes you're shooting sounds. Is how it feels, and I can absolutely agree. Is that gun? Sometimes I'm like, dang, this is the best gun in the game, and other times like, oh my goodness.
What is this?
What is going on? As Shotup's finding his first pick onto Austin, and ooh, Gonzo. Seems like he got a little bit frightened there, as his finger might be too close to the mouse wheel as he jumps into the bullets of Shotup. And will Corey remember what we mentioned about Kennesaw in that first half?
Yep.
They're a team that we've seen lose a lot of rounds consecutively. And if they lose this one, that could be the start of an unfortunate pattern in their not in their favor. As Danimal is flanking with a P2K. He's got a lot to do on his plate. He doesn't have armor. Nusty's going to be the first one to come into contact. Oh, no, he's not. They're just going to walk past each other, and Cyber's going to be the first one. Oh, and he just, out of his peripherals, he's like, huh, that doesn't look right.
Wait a minute, you don't belong there. Oh, that's good stuff. Let's take a look here. Oh, that's a nice little spray pattern. Yep. Uh-huh. And that's how you get a 3K. So 12-6 now. Let's see what they decide to do here for Kennesaw. They've got they do a full save except for a couple P250. Actually just one P250.
Well, they've got a nice crossfire set up there for barrels, and Austin's able to get 2. Not anything more than that, but they've at least evened up the odds and done a good amount of damage.
Shot up down to 8 HP.
Yeah, one bullet will be the difference maker there. They still haven't gotten the bomb down yet.
They're
scared.
Oh, no. They don't know. Oh, and there they are. They challenge, and Nusty goes down. Oh, and there goes Shot Up. And just like that, it is a 2-on-1 here for Kennesaw.
Danimal's found himself an AK as well.
Yes, and the bomb has dropped. Now, of course, he has the ability to be able to pick this up. And TW playing a tough angle, more importantly, or a small sliver to be able to look through. Cyber picks up the bomb. He has not been challenged, and he's going to go towards the A bomb site. But one of the callouts is TW is going to get himself an AK out of this.
Absolutely.
And then it's a whole different type of retake.
Neither of them have armor or a kit, so
yeah, but that's still. And he's going to plant it for the. Oh my goodness, no! You just planted it for their side as well. Let's see what they decide. What route do they take? And they both look like. I'd assume that they would take the CT spawn route. Oh, they don't. Oh goodness. I mean, it makes sense. You'd think, oh, no, wait. Yep, they're going through connector, so they're going to check through the bathroom side because that would be the right spot. That would be the legit side to plant on if you were Purdue here. But it is planted on the opposite side, so it ends up working out in Cyber's favor.
Time's ticking. They don't have a kit.
And Kennesaw took the long route as well. And here comes the defuse. He's going to stick it all the way through. Oh, and TW takes him out.
Does he have time? That's
we'll
the question. I don't think he's got time. Okay.
He does.
Oh my
You are kidding
goodness.
me. That was awesome to see. The way that was shaping up just didn't seem right. And who was that that was left alive? Was it?
It was Cyber.
So Cyber was the last one alive. And what he did, he was actually playing, watching for the quick rotate through from B bomb site. Over time, you just know that they're not coming that way because they would have already been there by then. So, yeah, interesting. That round, the way that just played out really interestingly, if that's a word. I'll go with it for now. 13-6.
Interestingly, I'm pretty sure that's a word. It's a word that I've used.
Yeah, it didn't roll off the tongue really well.
That's all right. We're here in round number 20. Shotup's gonna try to push up through this smoke, and he's gonna
X-ray.
They just pass right through each other, pat each other on the shoulder, and say, "Oh, that was just the wind." As now, Cyber's finding himself taking some damage.
I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. I don't think it's going to change how this round plays out. Them passing by each other in that smoke.
It doesn't seem like it. Shotup's already made his way back. The players have gone A long, however, and Shotup's going to find himself contact here pretty shortly with Austin. He's getting closer and closer. Oh, doesn't barely. He's going to try to poke again. He's like, man, I really got a feeling about this.
Oh, they're brothers, that's for sure.
They have exchanged it. Oh, he hears him running, and that is going to close it out. Yeah, he started shooting. He started running. He had a feeling, but it wasn't strong enough. As now his team's starting to push through A long, we actually see a team's kill. Oh, no, the flank coming there from Gonzo. Excuse me, the swing coming out. He's able to find 2, and that's going to close almost the round as they've got 30 seconds and no life and do not even have the bomb to work with. Missing the shot is Nusi. Has 15 life left on the hands of Cyber, and he goes down in the hands of Danimal. 14 on the round here for Kennesaw. The money's not looking great on the side of Purdue. I'd imagine that they're going to try and get what they can. Probably sit around close to that $2,000 mark for those players who aren't close to that. Oh, Cyber actually just fully invested into that round. Okay, so where we see Cyber fully invest, Eli only has 500 to his name. And we'll see 3 players with something going into the next round, but for now, we'll have to see how this round pulls out. And Corey, something to mention, that round number 19.
They're being aggressive right now as well inside of by Fountain.
Oh!
And Gonzo, he's not only going to lose his head, but he drops his AK as well.
So to take a step back here in round number 19, that full eco round that we saw, that Cyber was the last one alive where he planted the bomb. We discussed about that. That was a full eco. And so that is what's propelled Kennesaw to get into the position they are now. But with this AK in hand, this extra AK in hand, I should say.
Yep.
Purdue has got a shot. They're going towards the restrooms. They got 5 players there. There's 3 people on this A site. One of them playing far back, and that's Austin. Shot. Austin's going to be on a flanker. We got to keep an eye out for him. He's going slowly. He doesn't want to be hurt just yet, as he's got his team rotating. And now he's going to be found, and that's Eli. He's going to call him out. Molotov goes down. It's not going to be enough, as Shot Up is finding himself on the AWP. He's got 15 life to work with.
Yeah, he's going to be... Probably going to play a little aggressive and see if he can peek down below as well and see if he can get a flank on them. There it is. There's the op, and he was ready for it. That was TW. 2 on 2. There's a smoke to smoke off. Now they'll be able to push in. Let's see if he decides. Oh, nice peek out by Cyber. Peeks out on Austin there, and they pick up the round. Purdue 7 now. 7-14. And let's see what Kennesaw decides to do. Austin went ahead and already bought. Danimal's going, well, I have enough for something, but Gonzo's like, I ain't got nothing. This ain't happening. So I think Austin hit his bind key way too fast. And he's going to be aggressive here, too.
I support that decision, however, of them deciding that, okay, well, let's just save as a team. Austin, I can at least get you a rifle, is Tate W, as he had 9,400 in that round. And oh,
yeah, but Austin's down to $200.
Okay, maybe I don't support that decision as I'm seeing how it's unfolding now. Ends don't justify the means, as now they're making their way onto the A bomb sites. We see Cyber going back for it, and ooh, TW a little slow to react, but still coming out on top. We saw players getting 2 tunnel vision on weapons there, and ooh, he was able to do some damage before going out. TW at least making a splash.
Yeah, they got the bomb. They decided to go back towards B because they're making the assumption that Seb has already made his way over here, and also Noosty has a really good angle as well. He's already holding that rotate, and so Seb could probably go towards connector if the bomb gets planted here.
Where was that last gun on Shot Up? Okay, I was about to say, that might be what Seb's looking for, the only thing he's looking for, because then they could throw that over to Austin, which will balance out their money.
Valid. So looking at the current economy, I'm trying to remember, that was only one, so this will be their second round, so they should be at, about, what is that, 1,900, 1,200, 2,400? I can't remember anymore. I'm getting old. It's either 1,900, 2,400 bucks that will go into their bank, as we'll see that coming in this next round, so we'll see. 2,400 comes, so that's going to come in. You're going to have 4,700 coming in for Seth. Nope, it was 1,900 that they came in, so that's going to be 4,200. So if I remember correctly, it's 1,400, 1,900, so forth, and it's 500 bucks up all the way to the point. Of course, you're rewarded in the pistol rounds as well for losing, so they give you an advance in the game. So that was the only new economy update that since I had been casting last time. So I used to be big about the economy. I used to be able to break it down like ins and outs of everything. Sadly, I cannot anymore.
14-8 now in favor of Kennesaw. And, you know, we've tried to tell the storyline of Kennesaw as one of those teams that loses. Oh, Eli misses that grenade, but we've seen that Kennesaw has been one of those teams that can win a lot of rounds in a row, but on the flip side, they can lose a lot of rounds in a row. They haven't shown that yet, but Purdue's finding them stride a little bit, able to keep themselves alive and stay away from match point. We saw how much success this boost had yesterday. Able to pick off the player towards barrels. There is one player towards barrels. Doesn't seem like they're going to find him just yet, but they are spraying over. Tate W going down to 20 now. So the boost wasn't for nothing. Cyber only takes 1 health. Oh my goodness, Austin finding 2 pickups though. That is going to slow their roll, but that's going to speed them up into the B bomb site as we see now that Cyber is pushing his way through sandbags. He might be stopped there. Looks like a smoke grenade to meet him, and Elijah's going to meet Sebastian.
Great peek. That's how you want to win those entries. And Austin coming into the action as he gets his 4th kill of the round.
That means his 30th on the board.
Goodness. Austin is just a lights-out player.
That he is indeed. Let's see here. He finds the 2 players. Oh, perfect flash there from Gonzo, just completely removing the vision from those players, and Gonzo gets taken out, but quickly followed up, and that's how the round ended. So Austin closing it out 4K for himself, as you mentioned. This can potentially be the last round here for Purdue in this upper bracket, as Kennesaw is trying to close this one out. Oh, Corey, if they win this, it'll be 16-8.
Oh my goodness, you would get excited about that.
Of course I would, Corey. What else? You expected something else from me?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, Gonzo's pushing forward now, and he's going to have his back turned, and ooh, shot up, shoots a little bit too early, and that's going to reveal his position. And Austin, who else but for him to find it, as Gonzo gets taken down, actually, by Fresh, but not before doing some damage at least.
Let's see, as now they've rotated their way up through connector towards, now they're going towards bathrooms right now. And that smoke is right there, and Austin is inside of it. And there goes a player right behind. Oh my goodness. Oh, he could have picked off the other one that was low on HP being Fresh. And now you've got Danimal watching towards long, and you got to rotate there, but he does shuffle. And oh, just on the sliver. I love the grenade sometimes as it becomes a smoke bloom. And inside the side, it's going to be left up here to Noosty. Noosty down to a 1-on-2. He's got an off in hand. It's going to be difficult. There's the no-scope coming out. Love that. That is a nice feature. As now it's going to be left up to Sebastian. He has got a very lethal MP7. Or sorry, MP9.
Noosty's got 13 seconds here. He's kind of playing with the clock, Corey. He's got to go. I don't think he realizes it. He has to stick this. He's gonna get it. Just
but
oh my goodness, just barely, just barely. It's on 1 second, and that Seb, he's gonna know exactly where he's at. He's gonna have the positioning, and Noosty tries to run away, and that is 16-8. Corey, the superstition comes to fruition, as that is 16-8.
Mute his mic. Oh man, 16-8 coming out here for Kennesaw over Purdue. Look at that face.
I was waiting for you to finish writing.
Yeah, have you ever seen like the TV show Recess? Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring that up here. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
No, get it. Stop. Go back to that camera. The one I'm pointing at, not this one.
Yes.
Hold on. Well, okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. The kid from Recess. What's his name? It's not. It's not Randall, but it's the kid who's always talking to Miss Fritz, or not Miss Fritz. That's a Magic School Bus, but the kid that's always talking like snitching up. He was like, like I even got the next. See, like see, Corey, it was 16-8. It was the.
That's the John O we know. So we wanted to.
Oh, okay, it is Randall. So
yeah, it is Randall. Yeah.
You're welcome for everyone at home. I suffer for everyone else's happiness.
That's why we brought John O on board. So I had to punching bag. I appreciate you guys. So 16-8. And so we can go ahead and take a look at Austin as a quick player profile. We break it down where he ended up 32-13. There you go, Austin Reynolds. Played extremely well. 53% headshot coming out through that game. 4 MVPs. So, of course, you just saw how critical of a player he was. Four 3Ks coming into that game. So just you can only assume. Of course, we want to be able to provide you ADR and some other information as well. We just don't get that from the platform. But yeah, he played so well going into that one. So huge shout out to Austin for playing that. John, quick note before we take a break.
Well, we knew Austin was the standout player, and he was absolutely that. So Purdue, I wouldn't say they even played really a bad game of Counter-Strike. It's just, I think the over-rotates were just a little bit too prevalent. We kept seeing them just keep doing this throughout the map on overpass on their T side. And then Austin was just always there to shut them down. So It just seems like they couldn't get through that. I think the term you used at the very beginning is they ran into a wall.
Yep.
And Austin was that wall for this team. And then also to call it Danimal was just lights out.
Danimal played really well.
On that AWP, I mean, that's really all you could ask for. If you've got that solid guy who gets frags and then a solid AWP, that's hard to get through as is because you just split them up, and it just becomes daunting.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. So we are currently going to take a longer break. This was basically how we planned out the schedule. We've actually adjusted one of the teams, so they're going to be playing later on in the evening. I believe that's Rochester Institute of Technology versus University of Alabama Huntsville. So that game has actually been moved to 8 p.m. Central. So that has actually given us an hour block available to us. So we're going to absolutely leverage this. We have not taken a break. We basically have those 3 to 5 minute breaks in between, so we'll take our break now. And we'll be back with our next matchup. That's going to be about 45 minutes to 55 minutes. We'll probably be about 45 minutes when we come back. We'll talk a little bit about where we're at and do a quick little reset. But then also this evening, we'll have a few more that will be joining us from the U.S. Army esports team. We'll have 8-Track will join us, not in this next matchup, but the following 3. He'll be joining us as a TriCast. We'll talk with him and kind of get their perspective of how really what U.S. Army esports team sees. And we'll also have a actual post-match analysis coming in from the U.S. Army esports team as well, so we can see how well do they know Counter-Strike. That's the real question. We've talked a lot about U.S. Army team, the U.S. Army in particular, because they're a great sponsor of ours for this event. But now it's time to put them to the test. How well do they know about esports? We'll find out after we take a long break here. But, of course, we'll be checking out our Discord, discord.gg/esportsstadium, and twitch.tv/esports on the chat. We'll be back right here for more Esports Stadium Arlington.